Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation podcast. And for the sensors out there, I want to always assure you we stay within the community guidelines because anything that we state comes from medical studies that are in the public domain, so everybody in our audience can go and see the information for themselves. We've written 4 best-selling books, some of the top medical doctors in the world, did over 20 shows on public broadcasting, and everything that we present is medically backed, real material, and it's all completely safe. So we just always want you to understand we stay within community guidelines, okay? Now, let's say to Holly. Let's say hello to George Walls. Hello, you people. I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. So what do you think about that picture you're looking at there? She really lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days with no exercise. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. And it's revolutionary. It's going to make every single diet out there completely obsolete. And I love it when people put in the hello, Allie. Hello, PM Lawn Sprinkler System. That's quite a long handle. That must be your business. That's cool. Anyway, we're going to wait for some more people to get on and then I'm going to explain to everybody how in the world did she lose 20 pounds and 38 inches in a month with no exercise, not counting calories, not being on a diet, not doing anything like that. So again, what I would say to all of you is that you have an opportunity to really change everything that's happening in your life as far as your weight and your health. How many of you would say, if I asked you, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, pick any diet you want, how long would you realistically give yourself to lose 20 pounds? Any of you? Hello, FAQ Toronto. Max is me. How about PC? Hello, all of you for joining. So I'm just curious if any of you would like to make a comment about what do you think about that. But here's the better one. This one you'll think that we photoshopped it. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60 pounds in 3 months. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It's not about working out. As a matter of fact, they weren't allowed to exercise. They all wear Fitbits to prove that they weren't exercising. Now, I know it seems hard to believe. Hello, user 450. Hello, Michelle Day. Hello, Benina 547. You're all saying hello to me. Hello, hello, hello. So does anybody have any questions? Would you like to know, like, how did they do this? Is it safe? How is it invented? Who did it? There's no products involved, first of all. There's no products. Basically, what they did was food that was, what do I want to say, laid out by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, where 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store and 70% from these exotic food sources from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So again, would anybody like to know how in the world she did that? Or this one here, most people are more thinking that that's probably, it is real. We don't have to fake anything because we're the only people on all social media with 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. You're all following these influencers and they don't have one shred of medical evidence, not one shred. And yet you're following them because what else are you going to do? If any of you want to lose, hello, let's see, who else is here? Hoden, F1 Fan, Jod, Sparkle, Carrie Elizabeth, X, you do not something. Yield, I think that maybe is, I'm not sure. But would any of you like to ask a question? How did she lose 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise, not a diet, not counting calories? Is anybody curious? This is live, by the way, so you know. It's not recorded, it's not AI, it's not an infomercial, it's a medical podcast to teach you about this. I would listen to how they have achieved this. Thank you. Okay, Bluebell. So in order to do that, what I need to explain to you first is this was invented after 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people. These are rated the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the world. So they don't invent diets, they evaluate them, they do the studies. After 40 years, they concluded that there was no diet that they'd ever done where people, well, 2/3 of people end up gaining more weight than they lost. And on every diet, whether you know it or not, 25 to 40% of what people were actually losing in pounds was lean muscle mass. So here's what they did. They said, we need to come up with a new system. They did. No, they weren't using anybody's diet. They created this based on seeing all the other diets fail. They did paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, water fasting, Jenny Craig, you name it. They did them all in 40 years. So they said, we need to come up, we'll find foods that we don't care, we do care, We want them to have less by quantity, but increased nutrition. That was the key. Can we give you more nutrition and less food? See, because one of the biggest fallacies of all the diets you're on is counting calories, which the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. I've had 6 people in 1 year get the definition of a calorie correct, the actual medical definition. So you're all counting calories, and why are you counting calories when you don't even know what they are? And the body doesn't care about calories. So the research said, all right, we're going to pick foods that have lower quantities of food but higher levels of nutrition. So they put a grocery list together for her. Only 30% of the food she bought last month, she'll buy and spend the money for 30% of the food this month: proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Now, instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. That was very important. But only 30% of what she could do. The other 70% came from these other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food, relatively speaking. So now they had the ingredients, right? They had 30% from the grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Then they created 2 new ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world: lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. That was called protein pacing. Now notice the word pacing. Very important. Very important. It wasn't just she was getting all this nutrition. It was when she was getting it. What were the intervals? What was the pattern of the eating? They invented this. Now, 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent. Now, this will spin all of you out when I tell you this. Intermittent nutritional fasting. Don't hear the word fasting. It's not fasting. It's not water fasting. It's not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half. No one's hungry. Nobody was hungry. There were no insulin spikes with the diabetics. But imagine that. And look at the outcome. Look at day 1 and day 30. 21 pounds, 38 inches. How many of you, if you're honest, if you wanted to lose 38, yeah, Bluebell, wow, I know. But there's more to that than Bluebell. Let me show you Julie. Wait till you see this, Bluebell. 35 pounds in 37 days. 35 pounds in 37 days. What do you think about that, Bluebell? Look at how much your body shrank. Can you see that, Bluebell? Is that not unbelievable? Now, for any of the others on here too, this is the daughter. I'm going to show the next before and after. By the way, Bluebell, no one was allowed to exercise. This is without exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove, not that the researchers were against exercise, don't hear me say that, but they eliminated exercise. Otherwise, you would say, well, of course she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. But even with diet exercise, I've never seen anything like this, or no one had ever seen those kind of results, right? She looks younger on the left, though. Well, I don't know. Maybe she was having a bad day. What can I tell you? It is incredible. Then let me show you wait till you see this, everybody. You're going to think it's a different woman. You're going to think we photoshopped it. We didn't, okay? Look at this. 60 pounds in 3 months. Now what do you think, Bluebell? Caroline, what do you think about that? 60 pounds. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach area. I know you think it's photoshopped. It's not. It's not photoshopped, okay? The reason we don't have to mess around with any of you, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. By the way, that picture's 8 years old, and she's kept the weight off for 8 years. See, the whole key to this is not, it's almost like the weight loss is the booby prize for us. For you, it's really exciting to see that number on the scale drastically drop. But the key is to show you how to keep going for the rest of your life. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what all of you should focus on, right? Yeah, I know. And then I'm going to show you an older gentleman. You know, when you get older, it's much harder to lose weight. Well, don't tell him that. Look at this. 40 pounds, 52.5 inches in just 30 days. Are you all just stunned? Are you just like, wait, what? Look at his stomach. But you know what? That's the least important part of his story. Look at his lab work. It's in green. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days. His triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days. I mean, what do you think about that, everybody? What do you think? You think any diet you've ever been on? Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, time restricted eating, fasting, carb loading, whatever you want to call it. No, I mean, what, really? Really? How? Okay, 13,579. I'm going to explain it to you. Let's go back to Kristen first. All right, so first, let's talk about why diets fail. The primary reason is all diets that I know of use some form of calories in, calories out, counting calories. But the problem with that is the human body has no idea what a calorie is. The reason dieting is all messed up is there's one fundamental principle for us to be alive, and that is we need a minimum amount, not of calories, of nutrition on a daily basis to run all our organs, our brain, heart, kidney, liver, etc. So what the problem with all diets until now is you reduce the amount of food, you're also reducing the amount of nutrition. When that happens, the brain freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and prevents you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel, creating something called catabolic metabolism. That's when your body essentially starts to eat your organs. It starts with your muscles, fortunately. And by doing that, the brain, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on all these diets. That's why you come off that's why right now, if you're on a plateau or your weight loss is slowed to almost nothing, that's why. The brain slowed down your metabolism, and it's slowing down your own immune system. You're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on any of these diets by counting calories. Okay, I'm telling you that because the researchers figured this out and said, wait a minute, we got it all wrong. We can give people less food, but we got to make sure the foods have actually more nutrition. So when we lower the amount of food, they're still getting massive amounts of nutrition. So they put a grocery list together. 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store: proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that the researchers picked out and gave her not calorie counts, serving sizes. Very important, the serving sizes, okay? So then the other 70% of the food came not from these researchers. They don't have anything to sell. They don't have a company. They're scientists, right? The top people in the world in weight loss, nutrition, physiology for 40 years, hundreds studied, thousands of people. They know what they're doing. So the other researchers these other researchers found had for 20 years gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, to Tibet, in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with large amounts of nutrition, but small by quantity. So now they had the foods, 30% she was going to consume from the grocery store, and the other 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Then they created, based on this new model of the kinds of food, they did something that was pretty cool. 5 days a week, they actually let her have 4 meals a day. She started breakfast with these exotic meals, lunch from the grocery list, dinner from the grocery list, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods. So she started the day with an exotic food, had a regular lunch, had a regular dinner from the grocery list that you would get, and after dinner, she had these exotic foods. That was 5 days. That's called protein pacing. Now, I want you all understand the pacing is critical. What the researchers proved was that it wasn't just that she was getting all of this nutrition in a smaller quantity. It was when she consumed it and how they called it the pattern. And instead of talking about eating, they talked about nourishment. That's a new term you all should get familiar with, because that's really what the body cares about. Are we nourishing our body to make sure that all the organs are at peak performance, okay? Which doesn't happen on diets. So then, 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, don't freak out and think it's fasting or water fasting or time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store at all, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was effectively eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. Nobody was hungry. There were no insulin spikes with the diabetics. There were people that weighed over 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. And look at the results. 21 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days. And the thing about her stomach, if you look at the bloating in her stomach on day 1, here's what you probably don't know. We all are suffering from this new medical syndrome called TDOS. The T is for toxicity, the D is for nutrition deficiency, the O is for overweight, and the S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, a new medical condition. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, that's me. I did discover it. But that's not what's important. What's important is we now know that we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. And as the body, as we ingest these, the immune system can't deal with it. The liver gets overwhelmed, and then the body has no choice but to take the chemical and stuff it in our visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs, and you can see it there on day 1. That bloating that you're seeing. Well, in this study, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving that this protocol, unlike any diet out there, this isn't even a diet. It's the only time ever they were able to measure through blood, stool, urine, and fat. This was helping the body get rid of herbicides and pesticides and the chemicals that were all stored inside our body. Whether you believe it or not, go and Google plastic in your brain. From 5 weeks ago, they've proven they're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries, along with herbicides and pesticides and everything else. But this protocol is proven to help the body get rid of the chemicals. And the other part about this that's so important is maintenance. because that picture is about 8 years old. She's maintained her weight loss for 8 years. One of the main things we teach you is how to maintain, which is really simple. Exotic meal for breakfast, regular lunch, regular dinner, and maybe every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. Now, so 5 days a week with 4 meals and 2 days a week with the intermittent nutritional fasting, that's until you get to your goal. As a matter of fact, one of the things we do for you, we give you free coaching. Now, why would we do that? Because everybody's different. We've got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids. No thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplants. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. Don't hear me say that. All we're doing is stating for you what's in the medical studies. Now, again, you're looking at the magazine. Here it is, right here in my hand. Women's World, considered the number one women's magazine in the world. I coached both these women. The daughter is 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they've both kept it off for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in August. Now, do you think you get on the cover of the number one women's magazine in the world if this is not for real? Now, why did they select them? Because this was the only protocol. You can go look it up. You won't find another diet, detox, whatever they're claiming. There's not one shred of evidence, for example, in PubMed, except these studies are in there that prove that this is changing the world. Now, what's so different, the researchers who created this, they initiated these peer-reviewed studies. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a peer-reviewed human trial study on like keto or paleo or Mediterranean. It wasn't done by them. It was done by other medical researchers. And the results of those diets are really pitiful. So some of the main points here is that you want, what exotic foods, where do you get them? You live in the United States. Well, Lovely Mitten, you get them, right? You see right above their head there in blue, can you read that? The New Health Conversation. You go there, they look at the medical proof, then scroll down, then you get a coach, and the coaches will get you the grocery list and show you how to buy the exotic foods directly from the suppliers. It's not something you can buy at your local grocery store. You get to buy directly from them, and that's what makes the price so affordable. People are pretty shocked that it is for, hey, Peter, judging from my body fat currently for my pro picture, how lean can I get in a month? Well, remember, Henry, the key is, what kind of shape are you in? Let me show you what's possible. Now, this person exercised, Henry, so just look at this. And by the way, Henry, this is 11 days. So, Henry, look at day 1, pretty darn good shape. Then when it says day 5, Henry, that's 4 days in. And then day 12, that's 11 days in. It's the morning of the 12th. That's 12 days, Henry, so you be the judge. What do you think about that, Henry? Please comment. Look at that change. Now, that person exercised. Now, again, before you think I photoshopped it, I actually know that person. Do you know who that person is, everybody? How would you? It's my youngest son. He's 40 years old. Look at that. He lives in Costa Rica. He surfs every day. So on day 1, he's already been working out, lifting weights, and going to the gym and surfing and whatever. So, and then he just, look at that in 11 days, the transformation. So, Henry, there's kind of your, right? How does one get started, Carrie Elizabeth? What is the cost? Wow. Okay, I'm going to explain all that to you right now. So, about the food you would buy from the grocery store, believe it or not, you're going to spend about $25 a week, $100. The other exotic foods from around the world, they average about $100 a week. So total would be about $500 for the month. But remember, you're not buying any other food. This is your food for the whole month. Oh, I actually should tell that $400 you're spending from those researchers, 100% money back guarantee. If you do the month, it didn't work, it doesn't matter. They'll give you all your money back, no questions asked. Try and do that on any diet out there. And the reason it's so, because remember, this stuff's coming from 18,000 miles away. It's coming from New Zealand. It's coming from Tibet and the Himalayas. I mean, they're bringing it down, on the back of mountain goats or whatever they're bringing it. But it's unbelievable. Look at the results. Do you want the results or not? That's what it boils down to. Can anybody tell me a diet out there, if you went on it and you wanted to lose just 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself to lose 20 pounds? Any of you? So 1357, does that answer your question? Carrie, how does one get started in the cost? Okay, Carrie, and all of you. Can you see, Carrie, above where it says Women's World in blue, the New Health Conversation? Do you see that, Carrie? Or Caroline? Carrie, Caroline, any of you. Do you see that? It's in blue right above where it's the red Women's World, the new health conversation. Just explain to me if you all see that. Yes, Carrie says. Okay. That for Carrie, that for 1357, that's for Caroline. It's 100% free to go there. The only thing on that website for all of you is the medical proof. There's nothing to buy, there's no buy buttons, and we're not going to contact you if you go there because we want to put you in charge. It's your life, it's your health. We want you to see the medical proof for yourself, and then if you like what you see, it says free coaching. Scroll down, you get a free coach. It says right on the website, 100% money back guarantee, because those suppliers will give you all your money back on what you're spending on these exotic foods from around the world. Do they do that on keto? Do they do that on paleo? Do they do that on time-restricted eating? Of course not. This really does. This is it. This is the answer that you're all looking for. You're just looking in the wrong place and you get totally the wrong program. I mean, look at my friend's daughter, everybody. 60 pounds in 3 months, 60. Look at her face, look at her arms. Is it a different woman? A lot of people tell me it is. It's not. I know her. It's my friend's daughter. I'm not going to Photoshop her picture, right? Cutie, how do I order? Okay, here, look. Cutie, do you see right above Women's World in blue where it says the new health conversation? Do you see that, Cutie? Please give me a yes, because it's critical that you understand what I'm about to share to you. So, Cutie, do you see the new health conversation? And by the way, on that website, there's nothing to order. We want you to go and see. Okay, Cutie, that is the website. Step one, go to the website, look at the medical proof. Then, if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach, and they'll show you exactly. They don't sell you anything, Cutie. They have no products. They're going to give you the grocery list that you take to your grocery store, and they're going to show you how to order directly from the researchers who created 70% of the food you'd consume in a month. Does that make sense, Cutie? Is that clear? For all of you. So the website is right above where it says Women's World, the new health conversation in blue. You go there, see the medical proof, because we're not going to contact you. Don't think you're going there and you're going to get a phone call from us, because you're not. But if you sign up for free coaching, the coaches they'll normally call you, text you, send you an email to set up an appointment. Look, we got kids as young as 2 doing this. We got a lady 91 years old. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no thyroid. No, people ask me all the time, well, I got hypothyroidism, I got, goiter, I got, whatever it might be. We have people with no thyroids losing weight. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. Don't hear me say that, just so you understand. So, it's available worldwide. Bluebell, where are you located? I'm just curious, and I'll let you know, because it is available. For example, it's available across the whole EU. It's available. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, my gosh, yes, yes. Because right now you're at about, let me guess, I think you're at 6:30 maybe at night. Am I correct? Canada, no problem, 1357. Absolutely. Canada, and now look, I don't have anything to do with the shipping or where they ship or don't. I just know basically they're in the United States, Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, and the whole EU. We're getting people from all over the world. We got people in the UK, we got people in Ireland ordering, France, the Netherlands, well, the whole EU, to be quite honest with you. And so you would still get, now, let me give you a clue. If you're in the UK, it's 17:30. Okay, so you're at like 5:30. All right, I was off by an hour, I think. Anyway, to make a long story short, if you are from the UK, you're out of the North America, then please, when you fill out the app, make sure you have WhatsApp. It's free to load. WhatsApp, APP. It lets them contact you directly, or they will Zoom with you. But just make sure when you fill out, if you want to get a free coach, that you put your WhatsApp number in there so that they can reach you. Does that make sense to everybody? No, it's not a supplement. Absolutely no, no, no. No supplements. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it's food. I'll explain it to you, Charlene, in just a moment, I promise. We're getting lots of people now that want to go to the website and find out more about it, okay? So, Charlene, I'm going to explain to you. So, this is real, Charlene. She really lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month. And then this one, Julie, she lost 35 pounds in 37 days. This is with no exercise, not counting calories. It's not a diet. I'm going to explain it to you in a moment. And then this is the daughter of a friend of mine, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, arms, body, look at how much they're shrinking. And there's a reason for that. And we'll explain it to you in just a moment. So let's start right here. So Charlene, how excited would you be if you could lose 5 pounds a week? No, Bluebell, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Now, Charlene, this is based on or developed, discovered, or created, I guess is a better word, by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who conducted over 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people analyzing kind of every diet out there, and they came to one conclusion. All diets are failures. That none of them ever work long term, which is what you should care about. So they said, what was the fatal flaw in a diet? The fatal flaw in diets is you're all relying on counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. The thing your body runs on, here's the fundamental truth about our body. Our body only cares about one thing, and that's a minimum amount of nutrition, because that's what runs all the organs and keeps us alive. Our brain, our heart, our kidney, our liver, it runs on nutrition. It doesn't run on calories. So when you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of, that's what you're doing. You're reducing the amount of food, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. That triggers in the brain starvation. Alarm bells goes off. The brain immediately shuts down accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. That's why you lose weight initially, Charlene, on any of these diets. Then it slows down to a trickle, and then pretty soon you plateau, and then you quit the diet, you gain everything back, and then you look for a new diet. So the researchers said, we're going to do this. They created this. Nobody else. There's no products. It was based on food. So first what they did, they only let her, of the food she would have bought last month, she only bought 30% of the food this month from the grocery store, all organic proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Very important. Very important. The other 70% of the food she consumed didn't come from the United States, came from these other researchers who'd gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients. 30% she bought at her grocery store, the other 70% she bought directly from these researchers, right? So then they created, based on these new nutrition models, they created 2 new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these, let's call them exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days a week, she was starting her day with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast. Regular food for lunch, regular food for dinner, and after dinner, a 4th meal. And it was called protein. It is called protein pacing. Now notice the word pacing, because one of the things the researchers figured out was it wasn't just that we were giving her lots of nutrition, it was what was the timing, what was the spacing between each of, let's say, the 4, they call them feedings a day, they call it nourishment, okay? That was really important. 2 days a week, she did something, again, timing is really important for this, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, Charlene, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time they had her eating 8 times a day. She was eating later an hour and a half. Look at the results. There were people in here who weighed 400 pounds and not hungry, because you've never been hungry for calories. You've always been hungry for nutrition. So we've ignored nutrition in lieu of calories, and the human body, why we got on this calorie kick, no one seems to know. Because a calorie is just a measurement. I'm not even going to tell you the definition, but I guarantee you, based on what I know, we've had 6 people in a year get the medical definition of a calorie correct. So you're counting calories. Why? Who told you to count calories? Did they explain to you what a calorie is? Your body doesn't know what a calorie is. Your body doesn't care. So the researchers basically figured it out that the key to this was how much nutrition could give people in smaller quantities. And there's the result. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, Charlene, the most important part about this is 2 things. Number 1, maintenance. I lost 40 pounds 23 years ago in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 23 years. The picture you're looking at her, that's about 8 years ago. She's kept the weight off for 8 years. I know, Charlene, it seems like too good to be true. It's better than that. Now, what we offer you, Charlene, is free. Right above Women's World, where you can see it in blue, the new health conversation. It's a medical website. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing there is the medical proof. And if you like what you see, because we won't contact you, Charlene, if you go there. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you can see up there in black, free coaching to ensure your success. Once you see that it's real, and if you want a coach, it's completely free, and they'll coach you the whole time, not just initially. Because look, we don't know anything about you. We got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids, man with a heart transplant, people with kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders, people with high blood pressure, blood sugar, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. Don't hear me say that. All we're sharing with you is what's in the medical studies, including things like drastic reductions in blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, just in 30 days. And the really big one for all of you that they proved in the medical studies, two big ones. Number one, inflammation, which, in case you didn't know, is the underlying cause of every disease out there. No diet has ever produced this result before. It came down 25% in 30 days. The other thing that it did that was so significant, you're all, Charlene, I think you came on late, you didn't hear me talk about this. We all suffer, including me, from this syndrome, TDOS. T for toxins in our body, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, that happens to me. I did discover it. But that's not what's important. What's important that we know that we're all storing herbicides, pesticides, Scotch guard, Teflon, chemicals in our body. We're breathing, drinking, eating them. See, what you don't eat, there's an expression by Michael Pollan, wrote a great book called The Omnivore's Dilemma, where he said, we eat whatever they eat. Think about it. So if it's a plant where they sprayed herbicides and pesticides, and you eat the plant, you're getting herbicides and pesticides. If you eat from animals that were given antibiotics, you're getting antibiotics. That's why they went, when they found these exotic foods from around the world, they went to areas, no herbicides, no pesticides, no growth hormones, no anything. This is incredible. This is making every single diet obsolete, not because I said so, but because the medical proof is there. So let's see, Melissa Kakapit. I lost 12 pounds already listening to your advice. Wow, listen, Melissa. She said, I lost 12 pounds already listening to your advice. Wow, I'm glad somebody listened to me, Melissa. That makes me very happy. Leave now, but I shall be looking into this. Have a great day. Thank you. Yeah, Bluebell, have a great day as well. Well, Melissa, so share with us. Is it true? Did you go to the website and no one contacted you? Am I correct? You contacted us, unless I'm lying, which I don't think I am. Can you put that in the chat, Melissa, and let us know? Yeah, MP, it's the New Health Conversation, but no spaces. So that's my website, and Sweet Quest, true. Would you please resume what we need to do? Yes, of course, Charles, no problem. Let me come over here. All right, so first of all, this was, Charles, the way this was discovered was from the top independent weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, who over 40 years had done 100 studies looking at thousands of diets. They didn't create any of the diets. They just were the scientists analyzing the results, right? And what they concluded after 40 years, there was no diet that ever worked long term, and sadly, 2/3 of people who went on any diet that they looked at gained more weight than they lost. And they did fasting, they did keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, the zone diet, the South Beach diet, Jenny Craig. They looked, in 40 years, they looked at pretty much every one of them. And their conclusion was, whatever all those diets were doing, it was totally wrong because none of it ever worked. And they realized the fundamental flaw in it was this. Our body doesn't care about a calorie, doesn't know what a calorie is, it doesn't count calories. What your body runs on is a minimum, not of calories, but nutrition. When they were putting people on diets, they were lowering the amount of food they were consuming, following the diet guidelines of paleo or keto or whatever they were telling them to follow. But at the same time, they were lowering nutrition sort of inadvertently. And the problem with that, when the brain senses not enough nutrition to run all the organs, it goes in starvation mode, Charles, and it stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for energy, and ultimately slows your metabolism down to the point where you can't lose any more weight no matter what you do. You come off the diet, you gain everything back. So the research said, wait a minute, we're going to come up with an original approach. And what they did, the researchers said, we need to find foods with high levels of nutrition and not high quantities of food. So 30% of what she consumed, what you would consume, the researchers put a food list together of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you or any of them calorie counts, they gave them serving sizes. Very important, very important. Remember, now only 30% of what she's consuming came from the grocery store, organic, from the list that the researchers created, not us. Okay, The other 70%, Charles, came from other researchers who'd gone for 20 years around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, where they found foods, or nutrients is a better way to say it, in huge amounts, but in small amounts of food. So now they had what people were going to consume. But now they figured out 2 new ways of eating based on these new nutrition models. That's what it was. And this is not supplements. There's no supplements, okay? This is food. So 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods around the world. That's breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, a dinner with your family from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. Now, pacing is important because what the researchers figured out, it made a difference. What the eating pattern, let's call it. Okay, you had breakfast, then they have like a snack mid-morning, and then they had lunch at a certain time, etc. So it's all time. The timing really mattered when they were getting, as the researchers call it, nourishment. But it's really nutrients, okay? Do you got that? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day at very specific time intervals. Then 2 days a week, which even more important, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating, no food from the grocery store at all in those days. But they did eat these exotic foods, but this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half. So the timing was critically important again, because they were getting small amounts food by bulk, but huge amounts of nutrition. Nobody was hungry. Diabetics, no insulin spikes. And they proved in a month's time that hunger came down 41% for people. People's blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically. And this was the really big one. For the first time ever, inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease out there, according to the medical world, it came, listen to this, everyone, it came down 25% in 30 days. So the stiffness as you get older, those little aches and pains, discomfort you might have, gone. This is an opinion on my part. It's not some sales gimmick. That we've got, listen, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies proving everything I'm saying to you. And the key to this, believe it or not, is not to lose the weight initially, it's maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This picture of her is 8 or 9 years old. If you look at Julie here, 35 pounds in 37 days, no exercise. And she's kept it off for 8 years. And then April, my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. Now, this is the one that I think is the capper. This is an older gentleman, because, you know, when you get older, you can't lose weight, right? Look at this, everybody. He lost 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. Least important part of his story. Look at his lab work. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4 triglycerides, 242 to 124. That's in 30 days with no exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't. Now, look at his stomach from day 1 to day 30. That's without any exercise allowed. No one was allowed to exercise. I mean, how amazing is that? That's 10 pounds a week, everybody. 10 pounds a week. Now, and don't tell me you don't believe it. It's published in these peer-reviewed human trial medical studies for someone who struggles to put on weight. Oh, fantastic. We have all kinds of athletes in particular. They want to put on lean muscle. I'll show you a picture of that. How Empress is saying for someone, okay, let me read. How to lose, okay, what did they do? All right, Gil, I'm going to tell you, all of you. So let me, first of all, for the people that want to know, I promise Empress and Chim and Jill, I'm going to explain in a minute, but just let me show for the people that have already heard me explain, they want to know more information. Right above Women's World there, everybody, the New Health Conversation, it's free to go there. It's all the medical proof. We will not contact you if you go there, but you notice it says above there, free coaching. So if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you get a free coach, and they'll coach you the whole time. They'll show you the grocery list. They'll show you how to order the exotic foods from around the world from these people. Now, let's come back to everybody else that wants to know about how did she do this? Okay, so let's talk about that. First of all, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who'd done 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people on every diet out there. They weren't their diets. They just analyzed them all and found that no diet ever worked long term. Sad to tell you that. 2/3 of the people they studied gained back more weight than they lost. So it's got to be a fundamental flaw. And the flaw was simple. Your body doesn't give a damn about a calorie, doesn't know what a calorie is, it doesn't count calories. But the body needs a minimum of something. And the something that it needs is nutrition. When you go on a diet, this is what the researchers figured out. You're really reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, but by definition, what else are you lowering? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition to run all your organs, because your organs run on what? Nutrition. They don't run on calories. That's ridiculous. So what happens when you reduce the nutrition and the brain figures it out, it stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel and ultimately slows your metabolism down until you plateau. You quit the diet, you come off the diet, you get everything back. So they said, no, we need a new model. We're going to concentrate only on nutrition. Because that's what triggers the brain to go into starvation mode. It's not about calories. It's not about how much food. It's about how much nutrition. So they sought to put together food groups that you would go to your grocery store and buy based on their research that would be high in nutrition and not high in quantity. So they'd give you a list. You'd get it. You'd actually get the list that she got. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that represent large amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities. And the researchers picked that out. So whatever you spent at the grocery store last month, this month on this, only 30% of that or less you would spend at the grocery store. Very important. You get a list. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they're going to give you serving sizes. Very important, okay? Then the other 70% of what she consumed, what you consume, doesn't come from your grocery store. It doesn't come from North America. It comes from other researchers who've gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, where they found huge amounts of nutrients in very small quantities of food, if that can make sense to you. So now the researchers had the components. 30% from North America, organic foods, and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. And then they created two new ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, you would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods for breakfast, no food from the grocery store, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. It's actually patented, okay? And what is important there is the phrase protein pacing, because what they figured out was it wasn't just about how much nutrition they were going to get, but how it was dispersed. They called it the pattern of when she was eating and what she was eating, etc. You get all that. The coaches show you all that for free. 2 days a week. This gets a little dicey when I tell you it's intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, you would eat 8 times a day. What? Yeah. You're basically eating every hour and a half. Again, it was small quantities of food if you looked at the bulk of the food, but those foods had huge amounts of nutrition. And there's the results. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. No one was hungry. They proved in a month's time, people's hunger on this came down 41%. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all plummeted in 30 days. And the big one was inflammation, which we all suffer from. It came down 25% in a month. No diet has ever produced anything like this. But the other thing it was doing, because we all have this medical syndrome called TDOS, T for toxicity, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being over, S for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, that is me. I did discover it. Okay, pretty big deal. Basically what it means is that we're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals, and as they enter our body, once the liver can't deal with them, the body takes that chemical and stuffs it in what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around the organ. Now, if you look at her closely on day 1, look at her stomach, look at the bloating, and look at day 30. That's with no sit-ups, no exercise of any kind. See, people tell you burn fat. It's a complete lie. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fat cells over your lifetime can expand or contract. And fortunately, or unfortunately for most of you, because you complain to us, it's not just how much weight you lose, but how much fat you have, especially around the abdomen, belly, diaphragm area. Well, it makes sense because your two biggest filters, your kidneys and your liver, are there. So the body first is trying to protect you from the chemicals, and so enrobes those toxins inside your visceral fat. That's why you can't lose that belly fat no matter what you do, because you need to be able to detox. Well, the researchers did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, proving that this protocol was assisting the body in removing chemicals from us. The body was doing it. No diets ever touched this. So two of the biggest, 3 reasons, I guess, but the last one's going to be weight loss. Number 1 is detoxification. That should be your number 1 goal. 2, maintenance. And 3, the weight loss it's almost like a booby prize for us. I mean, I know it seems how many of you would be ecstatic to lose 20 pounds in a month? That's 5 pounds a week on average. Please put it in the chat. Pauline, man, I want to try this. Okay. So if I lose the fat, I lose the toxins. Caroline, you don't let me explain, Caroline. Yes, you lose the toxins, but you don't lose the fat. The fat's going to shrink. Does that make sense, Caroline? It's important you understand the difference. There's no such thing as burning fat. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fats expand. Look at her stomach. Look at that. Or look at my friend's daughter. Look at this, everybody. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach area. 60 pounds. Look at how much she shrank. Or Julie here. Look at Julie. 35 pounds in 37 days. There's the shrinkage of the fat cells. Does that make sense, Caroline? Look at that. What do you think about 35 pounds in 37 days? Caroline, let me know, right? How do I get to this program? Me. Okay, great. Sign me up. Pauline, we don't sign people up. Okay, here's what you can do if you want. So, Pauline, I want you to tell me, can you read above where it says Women's World in blue there, the new health conversation? Please give me a yes, any of you. How do I detoxification? Chim, I'll explain that to you in a moment. Okay, I promise. Pauline, do you see that? The new health conversation, right above the red where it says Women's World. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So you can put in Google, no spaces, the new health conversation, any of you in Google. It'll take you to the website. We will not contact you, Pauline, but if you like what you see, which I'm pretty sure you will, scroll down, you get a free coach. You'll also notice it says they're 100% money back guarantee. So 30% of the food you're buying from your grocery store, they're not going to give you money back guarantee. But the other 70% of what you're spending, they'll give you all your money back in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. How's that sound to you, like Pauline? Pretty darn good? Yes? Yes? Good. So you understand, go there. If you like what you see, you can sign up to get, you don't have to sign up for anything. You just get a coach, okay? All right, so Chim, how do you detoxify? Okay, Chim, are you aware that last night when you went to sleep, as long as you didn't eat too late, your body, once you almost but suspended your digestion, your body automatically detoxes every night. That's called autophagy. It's a fancy name for when the body detoxifies and gets rid of the dead cells from the day, okay? What the researchers set out to do, could they recreate that when people were awake? They didn't necessarily set out to create this amazing weight loss. That's kind of a side benefit of it. So what they figured out was the problem with any diet is people are counting calories and ignoring the only thing that matters in the body, especially if you want to detoxify it, is you need large quantities of nutrition to fire up the engines. We have natural detox in our body. It happens every single night. So essentially what the researchers did is 5 days a week, they had people have 4 meals a day, 30% from the grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. And what they were doing on those days was building up a reserve of nutrition, but it had already been digested. That's very important you understand that, all of you. Because in order for you to detox at night, that's why eating too late is bad, you want to be in a position where your body slows down or shuts off digestion, and then it automatically begins to detox, all right? So on the day when you're doing 48 hours of what's called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating, on those days, you're literally going to be eating no food from the grocery store, just these exotic foods. We're going to eat 8 times a day. In addition, your body will go and extract the excess nutrition that you've done on the 5 days on a protein pacing and use that nutrition. But here's the key, it's already been digested, so there's no interference in your own digestive tract. And look, Jim, they proved it. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis proving that this was detoxing. And oh, by the way, people lost these tremendous amounts of weight. And oh, by the way, no one lost any water and no one lost any lean muscle. They actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So first and foremost, it's a detox. Secondly, you can get the maintenance for the rest of your life. And well, I guess third is the weight loss is unbelievable. Well, unless you don't think that 5 pounds a week is unbelievable. Try to do that on any diet, any person out there. Fardulls. Who else? Pauline, sounds great. So you understand what you're doing. So Chim, does that make sense to you? Did I answer your question? Please give me a yes, just so I know. So who else? Oh, we got 1,300 likes. I didn't even look at the likes. Can we get a lot more taps on that screen? Let's get up to 2,000 or 3,000. I did one this morning. What, I have 12,000 likes. That was great. We also had, what, 6,000 views, 6,600 people on the thing. I just keep doing them. I'm doing them about every couple hours. As long as my voice holds out, I'm doing these live podcasts. Who else would like to ask me a question? This is live. while we're doing that, let me give you the evidence why the diets you're on just are miserable failures. So let's start first here. Let me find it. Here it is. Okay. So everyone, this is why you want to listen and pay attention. This is from Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. The idea, this is Harvard Medical School. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not on which food we're consuming. Well, that's exactly what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard, okay? Now, let's go to another big study here. The title is Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. It's not my opinion. I'm not reading you an opinion. I'm reading from the medical studies. Here's what they said. Our researchers found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. 2/3 of you are going to, according to these studies, you're going to end up weighing more than when you started. What the heck are you doing on these diets, everybody? And then here's the crowning glory. This is Medicare, a new study they just published. Medicare. Title of the study, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. They went on to say, diets are not the answer. This is Medicare. They said, our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out restrictive diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you all doing? You're counting calories. All the experts are saying 2/3 of you are going to end up more than when you started. This is the silver bullet. This is the answer. Great, Pauline. Wonderful. You'll probably get. I can't promise you it'll be today. It might be. Our coaches are so busy, but it won't be more than 24 hours. Okay. So Chim, so I explained it to you, Chim. I just see your response. So who else would like to ask me a question? We're coming up on an hour, so I'll probably go 8 or 10 more minutes, depending on how many questions or comments that we have. But let me read to you also the medical explanation of why counting calories can't possibly work. You see the studies there, they're all saying that 2/3 are going to gain more weight than you lost. But let's talk about the medical reason why counting calories it's just nonsense. The biggest failing, this isn't me reading this is from the research. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. The medical people are telling you, stop calorie counting. It doesn't work. And 2/3 of you are going to be really heartbroken because you're going to end up weighing more. You went through all that effort and all that pain and all that suffering and all that deprivation for what? To end 2/3 of you ending up weighing more than what you started. We're scientists. I know you don't like it. You probably don't like it at all. Because I know most of you are going to go back to these failed diets. I mean, if we're talking in 4.5 years, according to Johns Hopkins Medical School, it's right here. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. This is Johns Hopkins Medical School saying by 2030, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound like any of you that diets work? So tell me what does work because I'm losing hope. Okay, Debsta artist, you're not going to lose hope, all right? So Debsta, what do you think about that? How excited would you be 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise at all? Now do I have your attention? Please put it in the chat for me. I'd love to know your comment about that. That's real. That's with no exercise, Debsta. Got it? Debsta, you do. I'm not sure what. Hold on. So someone just sent me a message. I don't have it yet. That's okay. Debsta artist, you do. Tell me what does work. Okay, you do. All right, so I'm going to explain to you. I'm planning for weight reduction. Woman, 5'3", 73. If you would have this, suggest me some tips on exercise. No, exercise isn't going to work. Luna, listen to what I'm going to explain to you now. The people that I'm showing you right there, by the way, to give you an idea, so she lost 10 kilos in a month, just to give you an idea. But my son, now stick with me. I'm coming back to you, Deb, so don't worry. I've got two conversations going on here. So look at this, Luna. That's 30 kilos in 30 days. 30 kilos in 30 days. Now are you interested? So please listen to what I'm going to share with Debsta and everybody else, okay? Empress, how to sign up. Empress, right here, go to that. Do you see the website? I promise the rest of you I'm going to explain to you what they did. But I got so many people wanting to do this. So how to sign up. See where it says above in red, the new health conversation. Please give me a yes, Empress, if you see that. Because you can go there and it's free to go there. No one will we won't contact you unless you contact us. So she filled it out and is waiting for no, it's not Manjaro, Mrs. Muss. Forget that. That's nonsense. I'll explain that to you in a moment. So if you go to the new health conversation, Empress, do you see it there right above the women's world in blue, the new health conversation? Go there, look at the medical proof, and then scroll down and get a free coach. And the coaches will go over everything with you, Empress. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, Bollywood expressions only for the US. No, it's all over the world. Well, I shouldn't say all over the world. It's in the EU, it's in New Zealand, it's in Australia, it's in Canada, it's in Mexico. This is only accessible to, no. It's available around the world, okay? Empress, is it? What is it? Okay, I'm going to explain it to everybody. Just everybody, take a pause. Let me finish, okay? Let's talk about what this is and how it works and how it was invented. First of all, it's no products involved. It's food. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who'd done 100 studies over 40 years where they analyzed about every diet there was, came to one conclusion: no diet ever worked long-term for only a minor amount of people. And they said the flaw with diets is that you're counting calories. Big problem with that, the human body has no idea what a calorie is. The way this works is simple. The body was always set up on one thing it needs a minimum of, not calories, nutrition. When you go on a diet, you are lowering the amount of food you're consuming, you're lowering the amount of nutrition you're getting, the brain freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and begins to use your muscles for fuel. Horribly inefficient and making you really unhealthy, because not only does it slow down your metabolism, that's why you plateau on these diets. That's why you yo-yo. But more importantly, when you're losing muscle, you slow down your own immune system. So you go on a diet, counting calories, losing lean muscle mass, you're making yourself unhealthy. So the research said, the heck with that. We want a new approach that they invented from scratch, and they don't have any products. That's what's cool, food. So they said, we're going to set out to find food groups, first in North America, but limited only to 30% of the food she would consume. You'd go to your grocery store or in the UK or wherever it might be, at your grocery store. Regular food, even organic. And they selected, the researchers did, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave you serving sizes. Does everybody understand that? Not calorie counting, okay? So 30% of the food came from the grocery store list. The other 70% came not from these researchers, but other researchers who spent 20 years going around the world, physically going to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with large amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity. You got it? So that's what you're going to be eating. But then they invented two new ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, you would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods around the world. That's breakfast. Lunch from your grocery store list, regular food, or organic regular food. Dinner, food from the grocery, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. So right away, some of you are freaking out going, oh my God, I can't eat that much. No, you don't understand. It's not about the quantity. It's about the nutrition of the density of the nutrition. So you're still going to be eating less than you normally would eat, as from a quantity standpoint of view, but way more nutrition, okay? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, that's called protein pacing. Notice the word pacing, because the other thing the researchers figured out, it made a difference when you ate. What were the intervals in between? They called it the pattern of eating. So for example, in this case, you have breakfast, the exotic foods, then you have a snack about an hour later, then you have lunch, then you have dinner, and then you have a fourth meal after dinner, okay? 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world, but this time you have them 8 times a day. So Luna, yes, you're eating 8 times a day, but they're very small quantities in terms of bulk, but huge amounts of nutrition. We'll look at the results. So for you, Luna, 10 kilos in a month. for the rest of your 21 pounds, 38 inches. With no exercise, by the way. And Luna, just to let you know, they're not against exercise. But in these studies, they eliminated exercise because they didn't want that to be a factor. Otherwise, you'd say, well, of course they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, they actually had to wear monitors to prove they weren't exercising. And look at the results, everybody. Now, the other part of this that's so important to all of you are two of the other huge things it does. Number one, we're all suffering from this new medical condition, syndrome called TDOS. What's it stand for? T for toxins, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, and S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, recognized as a new medical condition that every one of you have, including me. Oh, Peter Greenlaw. Yeah, I did discover it. What it means is that we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals around the world as they enter our body. Our body is taking them, showing to the liver. The liver can handle only some of them. The rest of them get stored inside what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. To prove it, look at her stomach on day 1, everybody, and look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise at all. Look at how much her stomach shrank. Now, why would that be? Because you do not ever reduce fat cells in your body. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fat cells can expand or contract. As you ingest the chemical, the body takes that toxin and stuffs it in the fat cell, and the fat cell expands. Look at her stomach, everybody. Day 1, day 30, no exercise. Is that not crazy? Talk about wheat. This is gluten and wheat free, so there's no problem with celiac, all right? You don't have to worry about that. I'm seeing Lady J give me how to get back to work. I will check this out. Great, Charlene. Wonderful. Does everybody understand that? That one of the things that they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this protocol, no diet has ever shown this. It was helping remove herbicides, pesticides, Scotch-Guard, Teflon from the body. That's why she shrank. That's why Julie, when you see this is crazy. 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at how much she shrank, everybody. That's not photoshopped. That's the detox. That's the number one reason to do this, not to lose weight, to detox. Number 2 reason is to be able to maintain it. That picture's 8 years old. She's kept the weight off now for more than 8 years. I lost 40 pounds or 20 kilos in 7 weeks. 23 years ago, I've kept it off for 23 years. But the third thing is the weight. I know, because you all get excited how you look in your clothes and with the numbers on the scale, etc. I get that. Now, what I want to show you all is this came out June 9th, about a week ago. This is the #1 women's magazine in the world called Women's World. It's been around for 80 years. The 2 women on the cover, I coached them. The daughter is a nurse. She's 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off basically for 3 years. Not the cover of this magazine, you'd think you'd get on there if it was a scam. And if you can read up close, it's not just the over 50, but look at backed by 10 studies. And then what does it say? Powerful new eating pattern can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. Hopefully you all can read that. If you can't, I just read it for you. This is real, everybody. I mean, when you look at Curtis, everybody, an older gentleman, 40 pounds or 20 kilos in just 30 days. In 30 days, everybody, with no exercise. Look at his stomach. Again, look at the detox. There's your evidence. And look at his blood work. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides, 242 to 124. That's in 30 days, everybody. 30 days. Aren't you all curious? Aren't you excited about the possibilities? Sweet Quest, will someone do it with me? I don't know. That's up to them, I suppose. It's called Detox with a Friend. That's what we call it, believe it or not. But Sweet Quest, does this make sense to you? Do you think I've explained it, answered your questions? You have a general idea. But Sweet Quest, understand you have what I'm going to encourage you to do is go right above where it says in blue there, the new health conversation. Go there, look at the medical evidence, and then get a coach, and the coach will explain everything for you, to you, whatever. Sweet Quest, does that make sense? Sweet Quest, she's saying yes. Okay. So you know you can go to that website. It's free to go there. We won't contact you, and you can get a coach for free. All of you. So, wow, look at all these nice people. Kelly, or Nelly, you signed up twice. Macasair, Yonks, Sweet Quest. And you've already given me 4,200 likes. You're all too kind. So Luna, are you understanding what I'm covering? Please put it in the chat for me. I don't want you to feel like you're an orphan over there on the other social media platforms. So let me know if this makes sense. But I would say 70, she's 572 kilos. And I guess I forgot, I wanted to ask you, Luna, what would you like to weigh? Give me the kilos and I'll tell you about how long I think it would take you. By the way, you can exercise, but you don't have to. Because in the studies, no one exercised. They didn't allow them. But obviously people do exercise. It's not a problem. I'm doing the poor man's version of this and it's working. Oh, cool. Cool. So you did already start? Who's your coach? I'm assuming I'm hoping you have a coach. I'm hoping you already went. LaShonda, you weigh 170 pounds. LaShonda, that wasn't you. I was talking to someone else. So LaShonda, are you looking, what would you like to weigh, LaShonda? I guess let's start with that. What happens after you lose the weight? Do you have to continue eating these? Oh, that's a great question, Jacqueline. Maintenance. Your first meal in the day, your breakfast, the exotic foods, 2 regular meals, and then every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. But here, I guess my question, Jacqueline, if you could put in essence, the researchers call these food groups that they got from around the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint of view. Why wouldn't you want to put that in your body at least once a day? Because the nutrients that are in here, you can't get at your grocery store. You can't get from organic food. It doesn't exist in North America, either the quantities or the specific nutrients like from Mongolia and from Tibet. They're not available in North America. So that's my maintenance. This morning for breakfast, I'm in Denver, Colorado. I was here at 4:30 a.m. to do a 5 a.m. Zoom or a podcast. And so it was easy. I just had the exotic foods for breakfast. I'll have a lunch here in a little while. It's 11:14 my time. And then I'll have a dinner tonight, and then that's it. So once a day I have the exotic meals. Does that help make it, do you understand? After you lose the weight, do you have to continue eating these special foods? No, only once a day. I want to weigh 170. Oh, you're 293. Okay, LaShonda. LaShonda, did you hear the explanation of how it works? I'm happy to replay it for you. Just let me know, because I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. But LaShonda, look at this. Tell me if this excites you. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. I know her. How excited would you be, LaShonda, if you could lose 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise? Would that get you excited? Jacqueline, yes, that answers my question. Good. So LaShonda, I'm concentrating on you now. What do you think about that? Well, all of you. Jacqueline, what do you think about, is that the same woman or do you think I photoshopped it? I hope I'm gaining some trust with all of you. I'm doing 3 to 4 of these live podcasts a day. I've got now thousands of followers, fortunately, but nothing is my opinion. I'm only reading or quoting from these medical studies. That's why I always call the censors and say, look, we're in the community guidelines because everything that I'm sharing with you, you can go see it in the public domain. It's in the public record. I don't have to make up anything. I don't have to skew anything. I don't have to make any claims. I'm just showing you what's in the medical records. Oh, LaShonda, wonderful. Great. So who else would like to ask me a question? Chef Dell sent me something nice. Oh, thank you, Chef. You're all too kind to me. You really are. 5,000 likes already. We want to serve you. We want to help you. If it's okay with everybody, can I share a really personal story with all of you? Why am I so darn motivated? Why am I so crazy to get up at 4:30 in the morning to do a podcast at 5 a.m. where I had a record number of people? By the way, I was shocked. Well, because they're coming in also from all over the world. And it's the afternoon in England or in the UK or whatever it is. But part of my motivation, well, big part, my own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And I loved her. She was awesome. But I lived through fat shaming. I saw how it broke her heart, So 24 years ago, before I became a researcher, she called me up one day and said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend one day thin. I said, well, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I hate diets, to be quite honest with you. I hate them. I believe my mom dieted herself to death. She literally did about every diet there was 24 years ago. She did Weight Watchers. She did Jenny Craig. She did, the cabbage soup diet. She did the grapefruit diet. She did the South Beach diet. You name. I saw her lose 20, gain 25 back, lose 25, gain 30 back. I really, honest to God, believe she dieted herself to death. So I'm devoting myself to all of you. I couldn't help my mom. She was only 63 years old when she died. I mean, she never got to meet her grandkids. I have 4 grandkids. Great grandkids. I mean, that's horrible. They never got to meet her. If somehow I wouldn't be dumb enough to say, I don't know, but I would have sure loved to have had an opportunity to give it a go, to give it a chance. You have that. You all have the ability to hit the reset button right now, the do-over. Just like this girl right here. Do you think her life is different now? And that's 8 years ago, and she's kept the weight up for 8 years? Oh, good, Nina. Stop eating all processed food. Terrific. So Nina, I soak grass-fed protein powder bloom in 100 degrees. Perfect, sweet. Got it. So Nina, did you hear me explain how she lost that kind of weight safely with no exercise? Did you hear me? I'm late to the party. What is the protocol? All right, well, I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to explain it to Nina. So let's go back to the beginning. So the protocol was invented by the top, not me, but rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. I go as fast as I can. And what they concluded after 100 studies, after 40 years, thousands of people, no diet ever worked. Because see, they were only analyzing the diets that they were sent to analyze, right? They're the top weight loss researchers in the world, recognized the top. And so they finally, about 13 years ago, said, none of these diets work. Let's try a new approach, which was the theory. And the theory was, when you look at it, it was kind of simple, but it wasn't. You see, your body runs on, and the reason diets can't possibly work, you're counting calories. The body has no idea what a calorie is. A calorie is useless to us. When we're hungry, we're not hungry for calories. What we're hungry for is the minimum, one thing we need the minimum of to be alive, nutrition. So when you go on a diet, any of you, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, and what else you're reducing? Nutrition. This is what the researchers figured out, right? When the brain senses not enough nutrition, not enough calories, it doesn't give a damn about a calorie. It immediately goes in starvation mode, stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cell, and turns to your muscles for fuel and begins to slow down your metabolism. That's why your weight loss slows. That's why you plateau. That's why you come off the diets and you gain everything back. But something else it's doing to you, you probably never even realize. When you lose lean muscle, you're also slowing down your own immune system. Yes, absolutely. And all the studies, just so you all know, 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any of these diets is your lean muscle mass. So by going on a diet and moving the number on the scale, as traditional diets go now, you're making yourself unhealthy. The researchers said, we got to change this. So what did they do? They said, we need to find foods that have large amounts of nutrition in smaller quantities. So they set out and they developed a list. They developed it, not us, of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables that you would buy at your local grocery store, wherever you are in the world. And that would represent only 30% of what you would consume in a month. So whatever you spent on food last month, you're only spending 30% of that this month at the grocery store. But the other, and here was one of the keys, the other foods, the other 70% that she consumed came from other researchers who had spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, to Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food, okay? So now they had the foods they were going to give people, and then they invented, based on new model, nutrition, not calories, they created 2 new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods for breakfast. By the way, the researchers, you know what they call these? The world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. That's what the researchers call it. So world's most perfect meal for breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list, all organic foods. Dinner from the grocery store list, that the researchers gave you the list. And then after dinner, again, the world's most perfect meal. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, that's called protein pacing. Now the word pacing is really important because that's the other thing the researchers figured out. It made a difference, not just that they were getting all this nutrition, but how it was spaced out. Let's call it the pattern. Let's call it the protocol. That was very important. because they were having four meals a day. Then 2 days a week, they did something it'll flip all of you out, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, you're eating 8 times a day. How could this possibly work? There's your evidence. There were people doing this who weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. Do you know in a month's time, people's hunger had come down by 41%? Within 2 weeks, all the snacking, all their cravings were gone. And in a month's time, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically. And for the first time ever, they measured inflammation, which plagues all of us. It came down 25% in 30 days. This has never been seen. This is not a diet. Main reason to do this is not to lose weight. Well, I'm going to show you why in a moment. So let's take a look at Curtis here, an older gentleman. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. You think that's the big part of his story? Look at his lab work. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days, everybody. There's nothing like this. This is the answer to obesity and health. This is it. Now, you'd never be able to do this even with organic food from North America because it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have enough by volume, the amount of nutrients you need, but also there are nutrients. Some of these nutrients that they brought from these faraway places where people were living to be 100 years old and not getting sick. It was all about the nutrition. I mean, someone was just saying they're sick of processed food. Well, we all are, okay? We all are. So, is Cody, this 100% vegetarian model, no question. I only ate once. Nina, so how do you get the list? Okay, Nina, all of you, it does, Sweet Quest, it works. Look, it's not just the list. See, don't think this is like anything you've done before, like, oh, here's the recipe. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to show all of you how you can get, okay, so first of all, do you all see Women's World there in red? And right above it in blue, it says the New Health Conversation. That's the free medical website you go to. Please put it, let me give a yes if you can all read that, because people have said some people had trouble reading and it was blurred or whatever. I can see it clearly, but that doesn't mean you can. The New Health Conversation. What's there? Only the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. Like, no kidding, no gimmicks. We have kids as young as 2 doing parts of this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroid at all. A heart transplant person, kidney transplants, and a lot of people with like no gallbladders, because gallbladder surgery is a big deal these days. This is unbelievable. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, and preventing any medical diseases. All we're doing is sharing with you what's in these this is the only protocol in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, period. Nobody else has them. That's why this is so safe. So before you think, oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet, it's not a diet. You're not on a diet, okay? So again, who else? Let's see, thank you. No gallbladder here as well. Okay, Nina. We have several people with no gallbladders. So Cody, awesome for the no gallbladder here as well. Who else would like to ask me a question? And again, so how to get the list, she was asking for the list. It's more than just the list, because the list is what you take to the grocery store. They'll show you how to buy directly from these researchers, because they only use really 5 of their foods, and I think they've got like 100. So you need to know what to order, etc. But you buy directly from them. You don't buy anything from the coaches. No, we have nothing for sale. And we coach you for free. We got coached. How great is that, everybody? What's the investment cost? The total for, you're going to spend about $25 a week on your food at the grocery store. That's all. So $100 a month. And then this protocol is about $400. So you're going to spend about $500 total, but that's all your food for a month. But remember, these exotic foods, they're coming from 18,000 miles away. And most people think it's going to be way more expensive than that based on what. Look, I don't think you can go to the store anymore and just buy, paper towels and maybe some shaving cream and whatever, and not get out of there for less than $100. So most people feel this is now maintenance. Whoa, maintenance is like $4 a day, $5 a day at the most. Maintenance, and maintenance is one of these meals. You have to eat breakfast. This is the breakfast you want to eat every single day. Does that make sense to everybody? So anyway, that's the answer. You guys provide where to buy. Yes. And we coach you for free, Nina. Do you get that? It's free coaching. Do you see it? Look, Nina, do you see Women's World, the New Health Conversation? Do you see that? And right above it, free coaching. Do you see that? So you go to that website, the New Health Conversation, all of you first. And if you like what you see, because we won't contact you, Nina. If you go there, we're not contacting you. The only way we'll contact you is if you contact us. Isn't that fair, everybody? Is that not fair to all of you? Wow, we got 6,600 likes, so some of you must like this. So how do we get the program then? So Reign Heavenly. Do you see right above where it says Women's World, Reign Heavenly, sorry. Do you see that? The New Health Conversation in blue? Please give me a yes so I can make sure you can read it. So Reign Heavenly Mana. Oh, got it. R from the Caribbean. How am I getting the groceries? LaShonda, you have to talk to your coach about that because it would have to be reshipped from Miami. They do it, I think, all the time. I don't know how to do it, so don't ask me. Most weight loss programs, we lose 10 pounds per month. This is no miracle. Patty, you're not even on the same zip code. Did you see this? How about that? 21 pounds in a month. Are you trying to compare this to a diet? Patty, you're completely, sorry, you're just completely wrong. That's 5 pounds a week. Most, you lose 10 pounds in a month, but not 21. I mean, and this, and also consistently, 5 pounds a week for 3 months, 60 pounds. Patty, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So again, I lost 35 pounds in 2 months doing something similar. It's possible. Nina. Well, great, but have you been able to keep it off, Nina? There's your question. And also, Patty, what did you do about removing chemicals from your body? 0, nothing. What'd you do about lowering inflammation? 0, nothing. No diet's ever been tested, and this is not a diet, ever, to remove chemicals from the body and lower inflammation. Not even on the same planet. I mean, we got, well, okay. Oh, 20 pounds a month? Okay, let's look at Curtis then, an older guy. How about that, Patty? How about 40 pounds in a month? How about 40, 10 pounds a week? There's no comparison. There's nothing like this on the planet. It's a joke. Diets don't work. It's not my opinion. Here's Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets and diets in general to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. This isn't me giving you an opinion, Patty. This is Medicare. So don't give me this 10 pounds a month is great. That sucks. That's ridiculous. Not when we got a guy losing 40 pounds in a month who's older, who changed all his blood work in just 30 days. It's just not even a comparison. So don't try to compare 10 pounds a week to 40. I'm 10 pounds a month to 40. He lost as much in a week as a month on any diet. But the other thing lacking on any diet you've ever tried, there's no detox component to it. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this was removing herbicides, pesticides, Scotchgard, Teflon from the body. It's a detox. That's why it works. The weight loss is almost like a booby prize. That's almost a throw-in. Profile. What plan is this? Okay. This is based on not on counting calories, okay? It's based on the principle that calories are a complete bust. They don't work long term. There's never been a study proving that. So the researchers figured, can we put together new foods with more nutrition and smaller quantities? So 30% of what you'd get a grocery list, you'd take it to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving calories, they give serving sizes. Very important, okay? But the other 70%, and here's what separates this from everything else, come from food groups, from researchers who'd gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the two kinds of food, right? Then they created new ways of eating, just to let you know, profile. 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You heard me, 4 meals a day. You start with these exotic foods from around the world, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods from around the world. That's 5 days a week. That's called protein pacing. The other thing that you would learn is it's not just getting the nutrition, it's the spacing. It's when you eat, what you eat, etc. It's all laid out. You get coached for free. 2 days a week, you do, here's the key to this thing. You do 48 hours intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods, but this time 8 times a day. You're eating about every hour and a half, and look at the results. 5 pounds a week. 5 pounds a week. But look at the shrinkage in her stomach with no exercise. So, no, you're completely wrong. Let me blow up that time-restricted eating nonsense, which is complete nonsense. Let me read from the Journal of the American Medical Association, not a bunch of opinions that you're giving me about time-restricted eating. Here's the Journal of the American Medical Association, Peen, Kappa, whatever your name is. I don't want to mispronounce, Pink, sorry, Pink. Let's read from the medical report. 3-month study, Journal of the American Medical Association. The Journal of the American Medical Association researched time-restricted eating where people routinely fast 16 hours daily. Over the course of 3 months, they gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of that 3 months, they lost 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. Woo! Wrong. You're losing lean muscle. Time-restricted eating is nothing more than a low-calorie diet. It's total garbage like all diets. That's why we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. I know that people lose weight initially on it. It is not a strategy to lose weight. It's a calorie reduction scheme. Again, you don't have to believe me. Annals of Internal Medicine. Again, the 3-month study where they took one group of people and put them on time-restricted eating, and the other group, they just lowered the calories. After 3 months, the people that did time-restricted eating lost 4.6 pounds. Wow, that's exciting. And the people that did calorie restriction lost 5.2 pounds. Now, this is one of the biggest medical journals in the world. This is in my opinion. What did they say? Any suggestion that time-restricted eating, any results, were the result of anything other than reducing calories is totally false. Believe whatever you want to believe. But what you're telling doesn't work long term. Sorry. And it does nothing to remove chemicals from the body. It does nothing to lower inflammation in the body, period. End of the story. It's not up for debate. What we have on our site are peer-reviewed human trial studies. You have opinions. You're entitled to your opinions. I see the influencers coming on and telling you all this nonsense about they're going to give you recipes. They don't have any medical proof. Do you understand? The medical proof is saying it's nothing more than a diet by lowering calories. Well, so why is it any different than keto, paleo? It's not. It's just a low-calorie scheme. That's it. But here's the problem. Your body has no idea what a calorie even is. Why would you be doing that? Don't know. So, no, I'm the researcher. I'm kind of the researcher of the researchers. That's actually what they call me. The coaches have really come from people like yourselves that have gone on this and had spectacular results, and maybe it was their cousin, their brother, whatever. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Nina, one of our biggest challenges, we don't have enough coaches. Because now I'm creating my own monster by doing this. We've got so many people that want to do it, and we do have a limited number of coaches. That is for sure. But a lot of people now, they want to help their friends. I'm from India. I'm 85 kilos. I want to lose. They don't ship to India. I'm sorry, Peak Salt. Plus, my gosh, well, no, I guess it's tomorrow morning. Isn't it like 11:30? Because I have a good friend who does a lot of my web work. He's in Bangladesh, and I think you're on the same time frame. So I know that he's like, oh no, it's 11:30 at night for you. Sorry, yeah, at night, exactly. Okay, it's Weight Watch is good to use. No, it's not. Well, they're out of business, number one, Maria. Okay. Weight Watchers is a joke. I mean, no, it doesn't work. My mom did that for 40 years. I'd see her lose 4 ounces in a week. It's just another diet scheme, okay? How do we get the plan? How does it help if you're diabetic through, please, I'm confused, thought eating regularly would spike? Not on this. It was invented by a diabetic chemist more than 25 years ago. I promise I'll explain it to all of you, but I got so many questions. I want to try and address them one at a time. Okay, what should we do? How do we get the plan? Okay, so as far as the plan go, everybody just bear with me. Does everybody see above where it says Women's World in blue, the new health conversation? Does everybody see that? That's the free medical website where after this or during this or tomorrow or tonight, whatever, you can go there. We will not contact you. Please be clear. If you go to that website, we're not calling you, getting a hold of you. No, we don't do that. We let you see the medical proof. And then if you like what you see, notice above it says in black, free coaching to ensure success. The coaching is 100% free, 100% free. And you get to get a coach for free because you've never done anything like this before. They'll show you, they'll get to the grocery list, but also what you get is what they developed in the studies. It's called the Blueprint for Success. This was developed by the top researchers in the world, and all these yellows are daily videos explaining to you what you're doing, why you're doing it. Now, what's interesting, the researchers who invented this, they don't have any products, they don't sell anything, they have no financial gain, but they teamed up with us to create this because they wanted people to have access to exactly what they did in the medical trials, which are going to change the world, make every diet obsolete. So it's not just what you're going to be eating, it's how you're going to eat it, when you're going to eat it, etc. I'm going to go over all that in just a moment. But first, no, sorry, you can't get it without a coach. No, we're not going to let you do it. Sorry, I'm not doing it. No, it doesn't work. We've tried that before. It doesn't work. Sorry. And it wouldn't work because you can't, where are you going to get these elements? They don't ship them to India. I'm sorry, that's it. Without these exotic foods, it's not going to work. So I don't want you to waste your time, effort, money, whatever, doing something that's not going to be possible. What do you pay for? Okay, controlling sugar spikes is the answer. Snacking, constant spikes is your worst enemy. Yeah, but Pinka, the thing is that this was invented by a diabetic. Well, let me show you the evidence. Okay, let's look at a diabetic right here. Look at him. He lost 40 pounds in a month. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Do you see that, Pink? Look at that, 8.4 to 6.4 in his triglycerides, 242 to 124. They had no insulin spike. And as a matter of fact, all the diabetics in these studies that were on meds, their doctors monitor them. At the end of just 30 days, they all had to cut their meds by 50%. 50. This is ideal for diabetics. It's unbelievable what it's doing for diabetics. But let's get into everybody now. Let's explain to you, to all the people that want to know, what did they do? How did they do it? How did she lose 5 pounds a week, 38 inches in just 30 days? Okay. First, who invented it? The top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. After 40 years, they'd done 100 studies, thousands of people analyzing. They weren't their diets. They were the scientists analyzing. And after 40 years, they never found a diet that ever worked long-term. And sadly, about 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. And every person on every diet, when they measured lean muscle mass, they were losing 25 to 40% of the lean muscle. So about 13 years ago, they said, we're not doing this anymore. We need to create a new pathway for everybody. So what they concentrated on was this. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. Why you're counting calories, I don't know. I'd love for anybody to give me the definition of a calorie. I've had 6 people get it right in a year, okay? So you're counting calories and you don't even know what they are. So let's put that aside. What does your body need? How does your body work? It works on a minimum of one thing. You know what that is, everybody? Nutrition. So when you go on diets, think about what you're doing. You're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming. Well, by definition, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. When the brain figures out not enough nutrition, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and prevents you from burning the fat inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel and automatically slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you yo-yo. But the other thing it's doing to you didn't even know, by losing lean muscle, it slows down your own immune system. You're literally making yourself unhealthy by doing these crazy diets, counting calories, intermittent, time restricted, all this nonsense based on calories. Total bull, doesn't work. These researchers said, okay, here's what we want to do. We'll find the foods with higher levels of nutrition and still lower quantities of food. So they put a food list together for her and everybody where 30% of the food she consumed in a month came from proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. Very important distinction, okay? And these foods that they're talking about, that they picked out, you can get at your local grocery store, wherever you are in the world. What makes this so unique, the other 70% of what she consumed in a month came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and where they had huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food, if that makes sense to all of you, okay? Then they now have the foods. Now what? Well, based on these new models, based on nutrition, not on calories, they created 2 new ways of consuming food. And this is what makes even diabetics crazy when I tell them this. 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start with these exotic foods around the world: breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world, okay? That's called protein pacing. The pacing was very important, especially for diabetics, because it was spreading out the nutrition over, let's say, 10 hours, okay? 2 days a week, and this is where the diabetics, I want to support you all in this. This will blow your mind. For 48 hours, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, they ate 8 times a day. No insulin spikes. To give you an idea, the diabetics at the end of 30 days, their need for insulin went down. You ready for this, diabetics? 41% in 30 days. Their doctors, for the most part, cut their meds in half. By the way, this was invented by a diabetic chemist more than 25 years ago, or the basic components of this. It was invented by a diabetic. So, hello, I think maybe you want to take a look. No, we see stuff like people on meds on this, normally within a week, and the doctor's the only one who can cut their meds, not us. But it's not uncommon in a week they have to cut their meds by 30, 40% in a week. There's nothing like this, everybody. If you're a diabetic, this is the most incredible thing you could ever do for yourself. Because you know, as a diabetic, you have a lot of trouble losing weight because the medication, which works by driving your blood sugar down, you all know this, metformin, glucophage, whatever it is, or insulin, it causes your insulin to go up. And when insulin goes up, you store fat, you can't lose weight. Not on this. I mean, how excited would you all be if you could bring your need for insulin down in a month by 41% and maybe cut your meds by 50%? See, we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, making any preventative steps here. We're not a substitute for, we're in conjunction with, not a substitute for, any type of medical intervention. So let's get that out of the way. So I'm not saying that. Don't hear me say that. But you have to eat, especially as a diabetic. But wouldn't it make sense to eat the less food with high nutrition? I think so, right? So, yes, that's keto. Yeah, but you understand, I explained to you that keto doesn't, well, okay, let's talk about keto for a moment here, okay? I've got it for you. So here's keto. Let me tell you how bad keto is for you. This is a big study done in Nutrients, the effects of 8-week keto diet. The keto diet, or exposure to the keto diet, is associated with large reductions in lean muscle mass and an increased osteoporosis risk in obese individuals. Let's do that keto and increase our risk of osteoporosis. I'm not making this up. This is in the studies. Intermittent fasting has been, that time-restricted eating, I think that's what you're referring to, Pink, is total nonsense. Here's Journal of the American Medical Association, a big study, 3 months. It just came out a couple of months ago on this time-restricted eating. I'm going to read from the study, from the Journal of the American Medical Association, not my opinion, okay? The researchers at the Journal of the American Medical Association found that overweight adults who routinely fast for 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between noon and 8, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months study, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. So Pink, guess, congratulations, whatever you're losing, 40% is lean muscle mass. Does that sound like that's making you unhealthy? It's compromising your own immune system. Intermittent fasting is nonsense. It doesn't work. Not my opinion. Yeah, I get really upset about some of this stuff because we're being told this nonsense from people that have not one shred of medical evidence. I see them online. With all due respect, medical doctors, chiropractors, people come out and tell you, well, you can lose 20 pounds in a month and just buy our app and you're going to get recipes. Where's the medical proof? None. They don't have any. You all are entitled, do whatever you want to do. But intermittent fasting is just another diet by lowering calories. That's all it is. Who else? Oops. Well, I thought you said this program calls for intermittent fasting twice a week. No. I said, okay, let me speak more clearly, Nina. Intermittent nutritional fasting. That's the big distinction. It's fasting with nutrition because you're eating 8 times a day over about 12 hours. So I apologize for misspeaking. No, intermittent nutritional fasting is completely different than intermittent fasting. So it's fasting with nutrition. Does it make sense? And see, to go 16 hours without nutrition is horrible. It's one of the worst things you could ever do. And they said on this time-restricted eating, that's what you're talking about, most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. So I apologize for the misspeak. I mean, I've been up now since 4:30 this morning, so cut me a little slack. It's already, oh my gosh, so what does that mean? Let's do the math, everybody. So it's what, 3 hours, 11:47 for, oh my gosh, I've been up for almost 7 hours already. I just realized not 3 hours, 7. Oh my gosh, no wonder. Diet people getting healed all over the world. Intermittent fasting is not about calories. Pink, do whatever you want to do. All I can do is give you the medical proof. If you think it works, you're wrong, okay? If you think it's effective as this, you're wrong. There's no study supporting intermittent fasting. There's no study that supports it. Those results are pitiful. I mean, look at this. Talk about results. He has A1C from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days, and he loses 40 pounds. You think that happens on intermittent fasting? Really? Really? It doesn't. And his triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. So again, and this is back, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. The studies on intermittent fasting are pitiful. I mean, they're saying that the majority of what you're losing is not body fat, but lean muscle mass. There you go, right there. It's making you unhealthy, whether you know it or not. Do whatever you want to do. God love you. Do whatever you want to do, any of you. Our job is not to try to convince you or sell you. Our job is to educate you. You do what you want. If you want to ignore the fact that 40% of what you're losing is your lean muscle mass on intermittent fasting, then go for it. But don't try and skew the medical proof. It doesn't work long term. There's nothing to support it long term. What does that mean? You've never heard of what? Intermittent nutritional fasting you're talking about? Nina, I just explained to you what it is. You're eating on the intermittent nutritional fasting day, you're having very small quantities of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. So what happens when you fast, essentially, is your body slows down your digestion. That's kind of what happens, right? But the problem is when you go on a fast, say for more than 23 hours, your body it'll stop using the fat, the energy in your fat cell, and turn to your muscles. I just read to you that 40% of what people are losing on these intermittent fasting is your lean muscle mass. On this, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. He's a diabetic. Look at his stomach. Look at his results. So who else would like to make a comment? Oh, Monjero, Poppy. Let's talk about, again, let's look at the clinical evidence. I don't want any of you to believe me. People get really mad at me because I just tell the truth. And they don't have anything to back it up. They give me opinions. Oh, intermittent fasting, it's great for diabetics. Really? Anyway, this is the Journal of Internal Medicine, considered one of the premier medical journals in the world. So nothing's my opinion. Now, this happened to be not on Monjero, just to let you know, Poppy, but this is on semaglutide, one of the GLP-1s, all right? 68 weeks, okay? 68 weeks. I'm only reading the results. After 68 weeks, the weight loss, that's a year and 4 months, everybody. The weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds, and 40% of what people lost of the 32 pounds was lean muscle mass. Well, Curtis didn't get the memo because he lost 40 pounds in a month. So which one would you choose, Poppy? The shot? Or maybe you'd want to try this with no side effects and it's completely natural. And we're not against the shots. If people want to do it, if they're diabetic and obese and it can help them, fine. But you have to understand the results are pitiful compared to this. Pitiful. It took him 68 weeks to lose 32 pounds. My God, Kristen, who only had 35 pounds to lose, lost 21 pounds in a month. I understand this is so far to the norm for what everybody's used to. That's why people get so mad at me, because they think they're trying to compare this to diets. It's not a diet. It took the researchers 40 years to figure this out, 40 years. Sure, hold on, stick to natural. What is the fasting window? Sorry, I just got the chat. Okay, so it's not fasting, first of all. It's intermittent nutritional fasting. It's fasting with nutrition. So I don't know how to answer all these questions in one fell swoop, so let me explain it to you. So you do a 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. There's no fasting window. That's the problem with intermittent fasting, where you're not eating for 16 hours, eat for 8. I just read to you, just let me read to you about this, Jade. This is from the Journal of the American Medical Association. They just finished a 3-month study on this time window. You don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. This is from the medical study. The researchers at the Journal of the American Medical Association found that overweight adults who were assigned a really fast 16 hours daily over the course of 3 months, this is their wording, gained almost no benefit from it. Over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. Run from time-restricted eating. Run as fast as you can. It doesn't work. You're losing lean muscle. You're making yourself unhealthy. This is 48-hour intermittent nutritional fasting. You're basically eating about over 12 or 14 hours, but tiny amounts of food by volume, but huge amounts of nutrition from foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that have huge amounts of nutrition, but tiny amounts of food. That's people over there that don't have diabetes. There's some of those people living to be 100 years old. I want that stuff. There's nothing like this. An example of foods that include in the nutritional fasting day. Okay, it's not a food so much that you would chew. For example, some of it's liquid. It would contain things like 70 trace ionic minerals. In case you're not familiar with those, we're not talking about iron, calcium, magnesium. We're talking about these tiny little minerals, things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and selenium and molybdenum. You need 70, and the best you can get from organic food in North America is 20. I don't care how much you eat, you're still getting 20. What about the other 50 you need? So one of the food groups had all 70 trace ionic minerals. Another thing that was in some of these foods that don't exist in North America, 22 naturally occurring vitamins. There's no pills. There's no synthetic. It's not a synthetic pill that you're taking. The food itself has the vitamins already in it. That's just 2 examples. There's more, but hopefully diet fail because you eat too much easy. No, that's not. No, diets fail because they're based on counting calories. Human body has no idea what a calorie is. Counting calories is completely debunked over even Harvard Medical School, right here, just to show you. Harvard Medical School stopped counting calories. Listen to this. This is Harvard saying it, not me. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. So again, back to this, diets fail because calories counting is completely ridiculous. It has nothing to do with calories. Your body has no idea. Do you know, by the way, Eva, I didn't know what it was, so don't feel bad. Can you give me the definition of a calorie? Do you know what a calorie is from a medical perspective, what it actually is, the actual definition? Because your body has no idea what a calorie is. Your body doesn't count calories. Has no idea what that is. It's just a complete waste of time. It's one of the foolishest things we've ever done as human beings, counting calories, because the body it's just a measurement. So anyway, but I'm not in North America. I'm in LaShonda, South America. So like Shilajit, CMOS. Yeah, Nina, this does contain Shilajit, and the original person who discovered the Shilajit more than back in the 70s was the chemist who put this together. He had the original Shilajit, to give you an idea, who was a diabetic, who invented this. Now it's been improved over the course of, what was that, 50 years, 60 years, 50 years, yeah. So if you're familiar with Shilajit, you'd love this. So how do we lose weight? Bugs Honey, California. Okay, what a great question. Can you give an example? I just want to make sure our diets fail because you eat too much. No, that's not true. Yeah, it is in a sense, but it's really because you don't get enough nutrition. So let me explain to you, Bugs Honey, what she did. What she did, I'll tell you what she didn't do. She didn't count calories and she didn't go on a diet. The researchers basically that put this together are the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. And they said diets fail because people are counting calories and the body has no idea what a calorie is. So the problem is we have a minimum amount of what we need to be alive, and that's called nutrition. When you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. There's where the problem lies. Once the brain senses not enough nutrition, it goes in survival mode, stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cell, and turns to your muscles for fuel. That's why you lose weight initially on these diets, then it slows down. As you lose more muscle mass, the brain has no choice but to basically shut down your metabolism, or almost, and then you can't lose any more weight. But also what it does to you, it also slows down your own immune system. So intermittent fasting, all these stupid things that are out there, they do that. They make you unhealthy by losing lean muscle. You automatically slow down your immune system. So all of you doing that time-restricted eating, you need to know you're making yourself unhealthy. Good luck. The number on the scale means nothing, okay? You're making yourself unhealthy, okay? Now, the researchers said we need to change this. We're going to find foods that have high levels of nutrition and low amounts of food. That's what they did. They created 30% of what she consumed or what you consume. You'd go to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie amounts, they give you serving sizes, like how much of each. Okay? And then if you were going to have carbohydrates, it was very specific, what are called complex carbohydrates. It's all laid out for you. Get the actual physical food list that they used and she used in the study. So that's 30%. So whatever you bought last month at the grocery store, only 30% you're going to buy this month, wherever you are in the world. The other 70% of what she consumed and you'd consume comes from exotic locations in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that represent huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now the researchers had the foods, right? Now they invented new ways of eating based on these model, which wasn't based on calories, it was based on nutritional density. So 5 days a week, she would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. You're eating 4 times a day. No one's hungry because you're getting enough nutrition, not enough calories. It has nothing to do with calories. And that's called protein pacing. And notice the pacing, because the other thing the researchers figured out was the timing, the intervals between each meal. Very critical, very important. And we teach you all that. 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not this crazy time-restricted eating, which is nonsense, okay? On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods, but now 8 times a day, like say every 2 hours. So you're eating over about a 16-hour time frame. Well, there's the results. Look at the results, everybody. And when they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was removing chemicals from, it's a detox, most importantly. The weight loss is like a throw-in. We call that the booby prize. That's for sure that's going to happen. But it changed people's lives. Look at the difference in her. I've read she'll lose toxic metals. No, that's completely wrong. No, she'll lose each one of the most incredible. It actually pulls heavy metals out of your body. So whoever's telling you that is total garbage. I was perfectly fine until I hit perimenopause. Diet and exercise no longer matter. Yeah, because Jade, but you're back to trying to diet. Losing weight by taking CoQ10, 600 milligrams. No, that has no bearing. No, Josie, you're wrong. What is the type of eating called? It's called intermittent nutritional fast. It's called protein pacing, 5 days a week, and 2 days a week you're doing intermittent nutritional fasting. So, but Jade, for all of you, what you can do, go look at the peer-reviewed studies right there at the New Health Conversation. If you go to that website, we will not contact you. For everybody, it's free. Can everybody see that? Eat avocados and rice. No, sorry, Richard, that's nonsense, okay? That's good to hear. It will take toxins out of your body. Absolutely, Josie, we have the medical proof. There's 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. No other diet in the world has any evidence of removing even a gram of a toxin from the body. I discovered the syndrome, it's right here, that everybody has, including me, called TDOS. This is what you have, all of you, Josie. T for toxins, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being overweight, S for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Yeah, Peter Greenlaw, that's me. I discovered it. What it means is we now know that we're storing herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon in our fat cells. No time-restricted eating, keto, paleo, has ever shown to even remove a gram of toxins. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was removing the chemicals from the body. Not up for debate, proven. That's why when people try to compare this to like time-restricted eating or diets or eat rice and avocado, it's nonsense. No, sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's just ridiculous. Because unless you have a peer-reviewed human trial study, it doesn't mean anything. It means zero. It's just an opinion. And even if you lose weight, you understand that 40% of the weight, 25 to 40% of the weight you lose on any diet is your lean muscle mass, which slows down your metabolism and slows down your own immune system. So the very diet you're on thinking you're getting your skinny jeans, you're making yourself unhealthy. And we're becoming really unhealthy as a nation. In case you didn't know, 92% of you have what's called metabolic dysfunction. If you have 3 of these 5 factors, if you're overweight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Do you know in these studies, all 5 of those came down dramatically just in 30 days? Did any of you know that? Probably not. So let's see, who else? I understand. Great. Very good. So Josie, do you understand to go to the website? It's right above the red there, the new health conversation. Does that make sense? Josie or Bugs Honey or any of you. What's there is the medical proof. There's an interview. This is the thing you want to watch. It's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. They've analyzed every diet out there, from time restricted eating to paleo to keto to Mediterranean to macros to carb recycling to keto. Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers Nutrisystem. And he says in the interview, they'll never recommend to their patients any traditional diet ever again. They said it would be unethical. They have the proof now. They've solved the obesity crisis. So, Joes, do you understand where to go? Do you see it right above the red there, the new health conversation? All of you, that's the free medical website to go to. See the proof? If you like what you see, scroll down. You get a free coach. The coaching's free the whole time, not just. And why do we do that? We got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids. We have a guy with a heart transplant. We have people with a kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. Don't hear me say that. But what we're sharing with you is what's in the peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. How come nobody else on, I'm late, what are you referring to? Tomorrow I have oh, wonderful, Josie. That's great. Wonderful. I'm late, what are you referring to? Okay, Josie, so you understand you got an appointment with Colin. That's great. So, KR. What we're talking about, KR, is this new medical breakthrough that's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. There's no other diet in the world that even comes close to this. She lost 20 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise. And it's not a diet. It's not counting calories. Main thing it is, it's a detox. But I'll explain to you briefly what she did, why it's different. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who'd done 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people analyzing diets, and realized no diet ever worked long term. So they invented a new approach which is based on a real simple principle. Your body doesn't know what a calorie is, doesn't count calories. The only thing it cares about is one thing. We need a minimum amount of this, and that is called nutrition. When you go on a diet and you lower the amount of food, what else you're lowering? You're lowering nutrition. When you lower nutrition, what happens? The brain thinks you're starving to death. From a nutritional standpoint, you are. It stops you from using the fuel in your fat cell, turns to your muscles for fuel, and that slows down your metabolism. There's your answer why you gain back all the weight on every diet you've ever been on. Sorry, but you also do something else that's unbelievably unhealthy by losing lean muscle. You slow down your own immune system. So you're making yourself unhealthy by going on any of these diets. So the researchers said it was simple. Not simple, but difficult. Can we find foods that we will select based only on how much nutrition is in them, not about their quantity? So 30% of what she consumed came from a grocery list the researchers developed: proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So 30% of the food that you bought last month, you'd buy from your grocery store wherever you are in the world, okay? Now the key was the other 70% of what she and you would consume came from other researchers who for the last 20 years had gone all over the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but very small quantities of food. And some of these areas in the world are where people are living to be over 100 years old and they don't get sick. So you kind of want to maybe put that in your body. So now they had the foods, 30% from the grocery store, 70% from these exotic foods, and then they invented 2 new ways of consuming. 5 days a week, you'd eat 4 times a day, starting with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, you're having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent. This is where someone missed before me saying this. Intermittent, nutritional fasting, not intermittent fasting, because you got nutrition in the middle. Those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, you're eating 8 times a day. You're eating about every 2 hours. Nobody was hungry. The diabetics did fantastic. And you can see what happened to her. She lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in a month. And so did a lot of other people. Look at Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. And then the next picture, which you'll think I photoshopped or it's not the same person, the daughter of a friend of mine, April, 60 pounds in 3 months, and she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. Oh, they've all kept it off, by the way. I should have mentioned that. This whole, you know what the program's called? R2M, Race to Maintenance. The whole key to this is maintenance. and detoxification. So let's see. So Angel, does that make sense? Oh, where do we get the food list? It's not just a food list. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. It's a whole protocol. It's a whole new way of living, eating, consuming, etc. It's not just the food list. It's way more than that. And you can get it right. See the new health conversation? Go there, look at the free medical proof. And then if you like, above there, you get a free coach. They'll show you, they'll get you the grocery list. You take to your grocery store. But more importantly, show you the foods that they got from these researchers. Because the researchers have all kinds of foods from around the world, but they only use like 5 or 6 specific ones in these studies, and that's what you'd want to do, and your coach will show that, and then the coach will coach you the whole time for free. But it starts by you going to the new health conversation, look at the medical proof, don't believe me, see the medical proof, and then if you like, get a free coach. Does that make sense to everybody? Can you see it right there above Women's World? Right where it says Women's World, right above there, it says the new health conversation. So Angel, does that make sense? So how much is the program, Jade? I thought I went over that before. So, okay, the program, the regular food you'd buy, believe it or not, you're going to spend probably $20, $25 a week on regular food from the grocery store because you're buying really small quantities. The rest, those exotic foods from around the world, they're about $100 a week or $400 a month. So totally you'd spend about $500. But the $400, oh, I forgot to mention this important part. Those researchers, in the first 30 days, let's say it doesn't work, you didn't like the taste, doesn't matter. They'll give you all your money back. It's a 100% money back guarantee. You have no risk to do this. But let's say you don't do this. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to go on a diet, on all these diets that have failed? I mean, over and over and over again. Here's the research. This is even from Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is what Medicare is saying. So listen, I think the researchers for Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. So you're going on a diet 2/3 of your way more than what you do now, and then you're going to have to look for a new diet. They don't work. Do you get it? Even Harvard Medical School, right here, stop counting calories. They said, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500, you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. Nothing to do with Harvard Medical School. The sad part is but you're flying in the face of the medical proof. Medicare, 2/3 of you are going to gain more weight than you lost. What diet do you think works? We're looking right now, Johns Hopkins Medical School study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound to you like whatever diet you're on now is going to work? I hope you're part of the 14%, but the odds are pretty darn low. Can I join? Yes, from Holland. Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So no fun, no, so lose any weight, I'll be refunded. So, right, so if I don't lose any weight, I'll be refunded, 100%, LaShonda. But, Okro, so if you go to the website and you put in your information, make sure you have a WhatsApp phone number. It's free to get WhatsApp. Because the coaches, if you just give your no country code, it won't work. But through WhatsApp, it's free, or they'll do a Zoom with you. But in order for them to reach out to you, they need your WhatsApp phone number, and it's free to sign up for WhatsApp all over the world. That's what we use, because we got people in New Zealand and Australia and in England and in France and Spain and all over the EU. So certainly Holland is part of it, okay? So does anybody else have one last question? All right, well, I'm going to end. Wow, that's 2 hours and 3 minutes. I just need to rest my voice, everybody, okay? So please let me know I'm doing these so right now it's 2:30 on the East, 2:11 on the East Coast. So let's say I'll do another one 2:30. So I'll probably do another one around 3:30 Eastern Standard Time today for any of you that want to do that. And invite your friends. They all can go to that website for free. It's free to go there. We want to help as many people as we can. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Chef Dell. Thanks. Oh, 2 roses from Nina. You're too kind. So, Okro, are you clear on what you do? So you see the website right there in blue, the new health conversation. Okro, make sure, give me a yes that you see that. You know that's where you go to get a coach. Well, see the medical proof, and then you can get a coach for free. So please give me a yes, Okro, that I know that you're able to see that, because sometimes people say they have trouble seeing that. So for all of you, you see right above Women's World where it says the new health conversation in blue. That's the free medical website for all of you to go to. Okay? All right, I'm going to end this now. And like I said, I'll probably, so it's 2:12 on the East Coast, figure 2:12, let's say 3:30-ish. Yeah, around 3:30-ish, I'll come on and do another one of these podcasts. Okay? 7,000 likes. I can't thank you enough. Keep telling your friends about this. Let's spread the word and help as many people as we can. All right, everybody. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, whatever part of the world you're in.